think Howie might just be sitting at home eating candy left over from Halloween and just pulling off trades, Rube.
Yeah, it's exactly what he's doing. I don't know about the candy, but the trade part is definitely accurate. No, he's probably in his office go with a big bucket of Reese's, maybe. I think he's probably a Reese's guy.
We'll find out what the fuel is for whatever he's got going on at this deadline. But another move on Saturday night. This is Emergency Eagle Eye podcast brought to you by Nissan, Reuben Frank, and Dave Zangaro. The Eagles trade for Jaire Alexander, cornerback, former Pro Bowler, not a Pro Bowler anymore, but this is a move with some upside, Rube.
It is. I think it's good they got a pick back. I just was. We both just got home, like in the last couple minutes. I
This will
guess
teach
they
us to leave our houses the week when there's a bye week on trade deadline week.
we should know better. I guess they sent a 6 to Baltimore, got a 7 back. Is that right?
Yeah, so the terms of the trade, the Eagles get Jaire Alexander, a 2027 seventh round pick, and the Ravens get a 2026 sixth round pick.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Look, he wasn't playing. I think it was a healthy scratch against the Dolphins. I thought the cornerback in that game, and I watched that game Thursday night, would be that they might be interested in would be Rasul Douglas, um, playing for Miami. But uh, Baltimore is a team that, despite their bad record, I think they have a shot at winning that division. Their schedule gets really easy. So if they had any this is not a team that's not going anywhere, dumping a player. It's a team that might be going somewhere, and the player just doesn't fit in their future. He's not who he used to be. He's barely played the last few games. What's he played? 16 games the last 3 years. He's
Yeah, he's
only
only
played.
played in 2 games this year. He's been a healthy scratch 5 times.
Yeah. So cornerbacks, look, when you lose a step as a cornerback, you lose it. You can't play that way. So that's why you see a lot of cornerbacks who are kind of, you know, that just that one step can cost you your career. So I'm not sure where he is. We'll see. I don't mind the move because they again didn't give much up. We'll see where he fits in. Um, how he's working on that secondary though, that cornerback spot, and I wouldn't be surprised if he keeps working on it.
Yeah, you mentioned Rasul. We'll see. There's a couple days left. I wouldn't rule out anything here. Yeah, look, they didn't give up much. This is a day three pick swap, late round pick swap. I guess it is notable the Eagles were willing to give up a pick in 2026, which is their first time this week dipping into that bucket. So they are now down to 6 picks in hand for next year's draft, and 3 more expected to come from the comp pick formula. But they still have enough ammo to go out and make other moves if they want to. But I'm intrigued by Jair Alexander. I mean, he's a guy who was playing at a really high level a few years ago, and I know a few years in cornerback terms is a really long time. But the downside is you miss out on the value of a 6th round pick in 2020. Like it's not a huge deal. So I'm excited to see what he can bring. And if he ends up beating out Keely Ringo and Adoree Jackson and Jacorian Bennett, I don't think anyone will be shocked.
I'd be a little surprised. Um, Nothing shocks me anymore. Um, but yeah, I mean,
I mean,
he's
which
got.
of those guys do you think is there's really 4 guys now who could end up being that CB2. And this is, on the last podcast, the last emergency podcast, we talked about the trade for Michael Carter and whether or not that would mean a move for Cooper DeJean outside. This kind of signals it the other way. Like, wait a second, no, we're not moving Cooper. We're bringing in more competition for that outside corner job.
Well, I have a lot more faith in Michael Carter to be able to handle the slot than Jaire Alexander to be able to handle outside. Um, uh, just just based on where their careers are. But I'm not sure I have a huge amount of faith in either. but um, I still think when all is said and done, let's say the Eagles are playing let's say they're playing the wild card round. I still, my money would be on Keeley to be the starting CB2
Oh, this is fun. Let's go through those 4.
in order.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what this means for Dory Jackson long term. I think we're starting to hit the redundant portion of this roster.
Well, do you want to throw Cooper in that mix too?
No, no. Let's keep it to the four. So we're talking about Jaire Alexander, who they just acquired, Jacorian Bennett, who they acquired in August, uh, Adoree Jackson, who they signed in March,
Yeah.
and Keely Ringo, who they drafted.
So I will go Adoree last. I'll go Keely first. I'm going to go Bennett second, and I'm going to go. Give me. I'm going to go.
Well, that would have Alexander third.
I'm going to go Alexander third, and yeah, I'm just deciding who I want last. I'm going to go Alexander third and Adoree fourth.
Okay. Yeah, it's tough to know.
Although it's possible to know. I
Yeah,
might just. Yeah. I mean, if Jaire's good, good enough to be better than Adoree, he might be good enough to be higher. Like he probably should be either one or four
yeah. I mean,
when
that's
you think about
probably
it.
true. Because and he's a guy who has not been a backup in his career. Really, I mean, he has 80 career games, 76 career starts. He has been
Yeah.
a starting caliber player for most of his career. Uh, he was a high draft pick, a first round draft pick. So like he's been the starter. I don't know if he's built to be a backup.
Yeah. Well, and he's going to play his former team, I guess, a week from Monday. I'm going to go Keely, Bennett, Adoree, Jaire.
Alexander last.
Yeah. I
Interesting.
could be totally wrong. Maybe he comes in and rediscovers, it's 2022 again, which was his last, good year as a productive starter. Sometimes guys just need a change in secondary, a change in scenery, or change in secondary. Um, so we'll see. I mean, very short career in Baltimore. Harbaugh doesn't make too many mistakes with D backs. So, but it's fascinating. The whole secondary and really just the whole cornerback picture is so intriguing to me. There's just so many permutations and possibilities, so many different ways it could fall, and it's gonna be fun to see how it plays out.
Yeah, if nothing else, I appreciate Howie for giving us another name in our endless discussions about CB2. At least we have another name to throw in the mix now when we're talking about that position and its ups and downs throughout the season.
And who knows, maybe Eli Ricks will find his way into the mix. Mac McWilliams,
I don't
um,
even think Eli Ricks is on the practice squad right
but he
now.
probably will be next week.
I think he
The-
still has a locker.
Yeah, I think he does. Um, who's the other guy on the practice squad? Ambry, is he still around?
Embry Thomas, yeah.
Yeah, Ambry Thomas. Who he was a pretty high pick too, right? He was a three.
I don't know offhand, but
Just looking. Yeah, he was a third round pick. He was one of those 49ers third round picks
mhm.
that um, haven't always worked out for either team. It's fascinating to me. Um, and I just have no idea. It's going to be fun to see what Vic. I wish we talked to Vic this week. I don't think we will. Um, but yeah, can't wait to see how it plays out.
We should mention the connection the Eagles have with Alexander is Christian Parker coached him for 2 seasons, 2019 and 2020 in Green Bay. So, you bring in a player and the coaching staff has some familiarity with him. I think that'll help him get caught up. I would think that they'd at least ask Christian Parker when they're looking at tape of Alexander, even though Vic has always really downplayed his involvement in personnel decisions. There are still questions to ask, and it's a bye week, so it's not like they're heavy into game prep. I'd imagine Christian Parker has a chance to at least sit down and think or tell the coaching or tell the GM like, "Hey, I think this guy still has some juice left. I can get it out of him." You would think those conversations take place.
I can see Christian Parker having a meeting with with Michael Carter and Jaire Alexander like in his office tomorrow morning. Good thing is, he's in Baltimore, so it's a easy drive up 95.
Mhm.
Well, nothing. It's never easy on 95, but um, sometimes these guys got to fly across country, and he would lose a day, but I would assume he's there right now and starting that catch up process.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. Jair Alexander is the owner of one of my favorite NFL moments of all time.
Really?
Do you remember this? In 2023, the Packers were playing the Panthers in Carolina, and Alexander is from Carolina. He's from where is he from? Rocky River, North
Oh yeah,
Carolina. So he took it upon himself to go out with the captains for the coin toss. Do you remember this?
I do. Yeah,
And he almost screwed it up because the Packers wanted to defer, and he said he wanted to be on defense. And luckily, the ref was like, "Are you sure you're choosing defense?" And no, they wanted to defer. And he just like took it on himself to be a captain, and then they suspended him for a game for it. All timer.
yeah, that's a good one. What's interesting to me about that story is I think the Panthers play the Packers this weekend.
Oh, that's fun.
I believe Panthers are 4-4 somehow. It's interesting.
Hmm.
Anyway,
Okay, I want to
yeah,
take a really quick break. I
yeah.
want to come back and I want to get your thoughts on what else might happen during the next couple of days.
You deserve a car that thrills you, a car that puts goosebumps on your goosebumps. At Nissan, we've got everything from turbocharged SUVs to 100% electric vehicles that'll make your heart beat faster. Experience the thrill for yourself and shop your local Nissan store and nissanusa.com today.
Okay, so Howie Roseman's made two trades in the last few days, both in the secondary, both cornerbacks, one a nickel, one an outside corner. We've talked so much about what position we think they're going to go after. I don't think those two trades have like changed my mind. I still think the number one target, even going into this thing, was edge rusher.
Yeah, me too. And it's just hard to kind of determine how BG coming out of retirement, Nolan Smith coming back affect Howie's view on that position. I would still, if something presents itself, I would still go after it if the price isn't too high. Well, depending who it is, um, it's not going to be Miles Garrett. Um, but
Well, let's talk about that though, because there is some reporting out there that the Eagles were really trying to put a package together. Yahoo Sports reported putting a package together for 3 ones potentially. I mean, that would be a huge blockbuster, but there aren't many players I would say might be worth that. He's one of them. Like he's the best defensive player in the league.
one of the best ever, or one of the best pass rushers ever. Um, no doubt about it. 3 1s is a lot. Where they're usually picking is, down near the end of the first round. You keep that in mind.
On the flip side of that, they've been drafting really, really well.
Yeah. I'd have to think about that. I would probably do it because
And it's tough because like it changes the complexion of your entire team because all of a sudden you're paying that guy a ton too, and you lost the draft picks to be able to replenish your roster. But I almost think like screw all the other stuff. If you have a chance to get that player, you try to get that player.
yeah, I mean, he's gonna be 30, I think, in a couple of weeks. So it's not a move Howie. I mean, he doesn't usually pay that kind of money to guys in that age range. But I just think Miles Garrett is an exception to any rule that you come up with. I mean, he is. What do you have, 5 sacks the other day? I mean,
And they lost.
the Eagles' edge rushers don't have 5 sacks this year, right? They have 4.5,
Mhm.
I believe. Yeah, and they lost. And also, I think he's a guy. He's facing like spending his entire career just with this perennial awful franchise. Imagine if a guy
If
like
he
that.
needs some tissues, he can use $100 bills and
Imagine. I should have the photo queued up of you and Miles at joint practices in Berea a couple years ago. That was tremendous. I was so proud of that. That was a fun day. Um, you asked Miles about Mulata going up
Mhm.
against Mulata and Lane and just kind of sharing tips and stuff, which was a really cool story. They were hanging out after practice. I don't think you were allowed to talk to him, but you did, and he was cool.
Yeah, it was the last day, so I figured if they kicked me out, I was going home anyway.
And they had other things to worry about in those couple days
It's true.
with their quarterback. But anyway, um, I don't know. I think I might do it. What about you?
Oh yeah, I think I would, and that's it seems like a crazy amount, but yeah, I don't think it's going to happen. I think he's gonna be in Cleveland through this trade deadline. But if the Eagles are willing to like pony up that much for him, I think that obviously that's the only player worth a package like that. But I think they're going to be serious players, and whether it's calling the Bengals again about Trey Hendrickson, they've also been linked to the guys in Miami. I know you're high on Jalen Phillips, also Bradley Chubb down there. I don't know if Matthew Judon really fits what they would be looking for. I think BG fits what that role would be, but you have those two guys in Miami, and then they've also been linked to Jermaine Johnson with the Jets. So like I, I think there's a lot of smoke here, so there might be some fire coming.
Yeah, I think Jalen Phillips got a sack in that game uh, against against the Ravens the other night. So yeah, they're obviously they're obviously looking around for edge help, and they need it. They clearly need it. It's tough because I think we all have to temper our expectations of Brandon Graham. Now, if he comes back and plays the way he did last year, that's tremendous. He'll be a huge asset. I just don't know. And he didn't have a training camp. He keeps himself in great shape, but when will he be able to? Like, how long will it take him to ramp up to that level if he can? I just don't know. There's no way to know. Um, I remember a player coming out of retirement in the middle of a season. Um, I mean, there were guys who hadn't played, but they were kind of BG was kind of keeping himself, and he was doing everything he could. He kind of knew he was coming back.
Yeah,
I
I
guess
mean, at that point, what's the difference between someone who says they're retired versus someone who's not on a team?
that's fair. I mean, Zadarius Smith he wasn't officially retired, but he was home working out.
Yeah. I
So
mean, we saw it with the 22 season with Linval Joseph and Ndamukong Suh.
yeah, no, that's fair. I
Not
guess
retired. I guess maybe there's like a mental switch that goes off when you retire, but if his heart wasn't in retiring in the first place, it might just be more words than anything.
I don't think that mental switch ever went off for BG. What did he say to Trey when we were standing there before the game? That they
I
told me
don't
to
know.
leave, then they told me to come back. He's just laughing. Um, yeah, I think edge. I do think other positions are possible. Um, Backup O line, like an O lineman,
Yeah,
possibly.
teams just aren't in a rush to give up O line.
Well, if a team's really bad and Howie's flashing picks,
Yeah.
I think other things are possible. But yeah, I think I wouldn't be surprised if he gets another cornerback.
And the thing with edge is like there are teams out there who need it too. So the Eagles are competing with other teams for these players. Uh, we'll see what happens in Miami. They have an interim GM. They fired, or I'm sorry, they didn't fire Chris Greer. They mutually agreed to part ways during
They
the middle of the
fired him.
season. So we'll see if that kind of breaks that logjam. They have some good players that might be on the trade block.
Yeah, boy, they're really bad.
Yeah.
They are just so bad.
All right, give me one name. Are you sticking with Jalen Phillips?
Yeah, why not? Yeah, I
Yeah,
like the player, and I think he's going to be available. I don't think it'll cost a ton, and I think he'll help.
yeah, I'm sticking with Jermaine Johnson. I think either of those two would be a good value add. I like Jermaine Johnson a little bit more. Honestly, I think I would maybe even prefer Bradley Chubb just to kind of fill a different role than Jalen Phillips. But either way, like I think there are some names out there that make a lot of sense, and we both believe the Eagles are players.
Yeah, I think it's more likely than not that they'll go out and get an edge.
Yeah. And I think it's more likely than not that we will have an emergency podcast coming very soon And whenever it does, you know where to listen to it, and we appreciate it. And if you appreciate it, subscribe wherever you get your pods, rate on YouTube, do all that fun stuff. Ruby, you have any final words?
No, see you in a few minutes.
All right, sounds good. For Reuben Frank, I'm Dave Zangaro. This has been an Emergency Eagle Eye podcast brought to you by Nissan. We'll talk to you soon.